Good afternoon,
All right.
everybody. This is Magic Man 50 Warren, City Jazz Sessions with Ronnie Burrage. We got Laka and Leon
From
on the show.
Live, Mississippi. Okay. Okay.
I am
Cool.
getting some feedback. Good afternoon,
All right.
everybody. This is Magic Man 50 Warren, coming back. City Jazz Sessions with Ronnie Burrage. We got Laka and Leon.
From Mississippi.
Leon, did you hear that?
Here, no, I'm sorry. What?
The stream was coming back to me, so a setting is off.
No, it was. I went to the stream, and so it was playing, and I guess my speakers are on.
Okay. So that
So
was you.
it shouldn't be feeding back to you now.
I don't hear it now. All
Can
right.
you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. That was just a technical.
Okay, because I switched up.
Oh, you switch up.
Switch gear.
Okay.
I got a headphone mic on. So.
We got you. We are live now.
Okay.
So City Jazz Sessions going live with Ronnie Burrage, Magic Man 50, Laka, and Leon all on the show. So we'll just get it popping. Ronnie, how you doing?
I'm well. I'm happy to be alive. I'm blessed. You know, God is making things work. We're down in Florida. I will be in St. Louis actually next week, Tuesday. I've been on a mission coming back and forth down here, getting my mother relocated from Florida back home to St. Louis. So I'll be driving up her furniture next week and spending some time at home.
So you say you're in Florida now?
I'm here right now. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, great. Hope the weather's fine there. So anyway, let's talk about you growing up in St. Louis. I think you said you went to U City. U City High.
I did go to U City. Yeah.
All right.
Went to middle school and U City High School. And prior to that, I lived on the north side and went to a couple of Catholic schools, Visitation Holy Ghost and Holy Rosary. Over by Fairgrounds Park. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you how we found you was through our friend Lynn. Leon and I both know Lynn, and she talks so highly about you. She would just couldn't get you out of her mouth. I'm not lying. So anyway,
well, Lynn and I,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So anyway, you started off your musical career here in St. Louis. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. I'd be remiss if I don't talk about the relationship with Lynn because we go back to probably, maybe 6 years old or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And she's a little younger than me, maybe a year or two or something like that. But her grandmother and my grandmother were going to the same church, and we used to go to we were in the choir. We were the little bitty ones in the choir singing together. So we became friends. And, we go back a long ways, long ways.
Okay.
But my early career in St. Louis, well, just getting started. I grew up playing my uncle's named Rasul Sadiq. He lives in Paris now. My other uncle, Ahmad Mar. All of my uncles were playing music. So there was music in the my Uncle John would come down from Chicago. He used to be the saxophonist with Bessie Smith and all types of blues singers. So I grew up just in a wealth of music, just in a well of music, just music. And my grandfather was internationally known poet. So there's poetry. And through his connections, there were all of the local St. Louis poets, Shirley LaFleur and quite a few other ones that, used to commune together at our house when I was growing up. So natural migrations, I started to play with a lot of the jazz greats, Floyd LaFleur and J.D. Perrin and David Hines and, John Mixon, a lot of the greats, and Willie Aikens. And so I grew up very young playing with a lot of those wonderful mentors and, they were heroes because they were throwing it down as I was growing up. So that's my early St. Louis. I worked in a lot of different funk bands, rhythm and blues bands. I used to play that Afro Day in the Park and Fairgrounds pretty much every year with a different band. So I had a wonderful growing up experience musically and every kind of way. You know, my family and my community in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what made you leave?
Bigger aspirations. You know, I grew up listening to Herbie Hancock and Woody Shaw and all of those greats, and I'm like, man, I need to get close to them. I want to play with them. So and plus, I had a pretty famous band in St. Louis. We opened up for George Duke back in the day. I think when Gino Vanelli came through town, we opened up for him. It was a fusion band with Daryl Mixon and Mark Frederick on keyboards and wonderful guitarist named Richie Daniels. The band I named called NCP, No Commercial Potential.
Okay.
So,
okay. Cool.
And were you playing jazz initially?
I was playing everything initially, but jazz was more prevalent in the house. So the challenge of that music and just knowing, where it came from was my biggest inspiration, But I grew up playing everything. I grew up playing in the churches. I grew up playing, like I said, several R&B and funk bands, pop bands. I used to have a big old afro, so I was singing and playing drums, like, thinking I wanted to be Michael Jackson or who's that Silver boy? Remember the Silvers? They had them big old perfect froze too. So, I did all of that growing up. It was you just had to do it in St. Louis if you wanted to play,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you know Eric Foreman by any chance? Bass player?
Eric Foreman, absolutely, because Eric, him and Marvin Horn, great guitar player that's from St. Louis, who lives in New York now. He went up to New York a little before myself and Kelvin Bell. And he started playing with Elvin Jones and a lot of great people. So when I was still in St. Louis, yes, I did some gigs with Eric Foreman and Marvin Horn and Kelvin Bell. And there was really a great guitar player, Richard Martin, that was playing back there. He was the one who influenced Marvin and all of those cats and Eric Foreman, actually.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
He passed
He's
away
from East St. Louis, played a lot. I did know that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We went to high school together. That's how I know him. Yeah. Back in the day.
Where'd you go to high school?
Sodan.
Okay, Sodan. Okay.
Yeah.
Over there by Billy Burks.
Yep.
You know Billy Burks?
No, I don't know, but I've heard the name.
No, there's a hamburger joint down there.
Oh, okay. No, see, I heard the name, but I was kind of to myself back then. But I did play in a band with Eric in high school. He was a different kind of guy.
What about Sarah Lou's? There used to be a place called Sarah Lou's with the best shrimp in the universe.
Yeah. That was a little bit out of the way. I never really hung out in that part of town, but everybody knew about it. I just never really made it over there.
Yeah.
That building is about to fall down now, I think.
I heard, man. I don't know who got that recipe. I wish I had it.
Yeah.
I mean, that shrimp was no joke. Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, Laka, she's into food as well as music.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'm a dietitian by day, so.
Oh wow, that's why your skin glowing all beautiful like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some tips from you when you gotta write me some stuff up to do. Although I'm a really healthy person, I eat right at but that's hip.
Yeah, it helps.
So you combine it with your singing?
Not really. I mean, it helps me to keep going, because I do a bunch of different things. I have about 10,000 jobs. So I know that it's literally my nutrition and exercise that helps me, going to keep up with all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of artists now that are combining all of this stuff. What's that? that girl, I can't think of her name. She's a pop singer, but she combines what she eats as well as like she uses the mood bowls in her music. She's Asian, African American, and Asian, I believe. I can't remember her name. She's real popular now, but she's doing all that now. So she's got a site where she's singing about the food she uses.
Yeah, whenever I sing about what I'm eating, it's mostly a joke. Like, girl, eat that kale, like.
But you know it ain't a joke,
I can
right?
really combine it, maybe for a commercial.
But right? You said it's sustaining you. It's giving you what
Absolutely,
you need.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought about combining it, but I feel like I take more risks with my music than I do with, my wellness business. Because I sit on boards and things like that, but then with my music, I might be dressed scantily clad, so I just as a woman, you have to worry about like people respecting you professionally in one area. And things I can get away with music, I can't necessarily do at a board meeting,
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, online you got probably more people doing food than music now. If you look at, my wife is always looking at people doing recipes and cooking, and it's out there.
Yeah.
Some healthy, some not.
So back to Ronnie. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Laka.
So you moved to New York when? How old were you?
About 17. And then I came back home for a little while, and then I officially moved when I was 18. I started playing with McCoy Tyner. Well, when I first got there, I was playing with another great, Sonny Fortune. That led to the gig with McCoy Tyner. And then after 3 years with McCoy Tyner, it was just pretty much every jazz great that I really wanted to play with. I had a chance to perform and tour and record with them. So I've had a really blessed career. Life in general. But yeah, I left very early because I just had the hunger. I had a couple of music scholarships in my head. I knew I was going to New York. Of course, I was like, Mom, I'm going to go check out them schools for a little while. And I legitimately did. I actually went down to North Texas State. But it was weird because during that time, not during that time, it still exists. But I had a professor of that was racially challenged, I guess, by a young person like me. So, and I felt it. So I was like, I already had a taste of playing with great people, because when I went to New York on my spring break, a couple of years on my spring break in high school, I had the opportunity to play with people like Sir Roland Hanna and, just wonderful. I met Billy Hart, one of the greatest drummers in the world, one of the most recorded drummers. And he was like, wow, and I had already played with Woody Shaw when he came to my high school my junior year. So, of course, I looked him up in New York. I had the bug, and I was able to play with these people. And it's like, to me, in my head, I'm like, they've already kind of accepted me in the fold. So I know that I can work with them and grow musically. So the natural move for me was to get back to the Apple.
I hear you. Wow. So you mentioned Billy Hart. I think he used to play with Frank Morgan. You familiar with him? Saxophonist?
He did.
Okay. I saw Frank a few years back. I think he passed on, but he's an awesome guy. He was one of my favorites, and I discovered him late, but he was an awesome saxophonist. What about McCoy Tyner? Let's get into him. How is it working with the famous McCoy Tyner?
Now, Warren, on my end, I lost all of y'all when you started talking about Billy Hart. So if you would do me a quick favor and say what you said, and then lead me into the question.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that I think Frank Morgan was playing with Billy Hart, the saxophonist. That, yeah, he was a great player. That was pretty much it. I saw him live once, and I wanted to meet him, but he had a couple of young ladies that had him locked in, and I couldn't get in there.
Well, Frank Morgan. Everybody played with Frank Morgan. I played with Frank Morgan. We did the Jane Pauley show. He was a inmate in heavy prison system. Sing.
I read that part of his bio.
Yes, man. That brother had problems.
Well, the
I love Frank, but
the story I read was that he wanted so much to emulate Bird that he thought that the drugs would help him, and so he ended up, going down that path.
Right, that's kind of like the story. But me knowing Frank personally, he was already down that path mentally, because I played with a lot of dudes, and that dude was a scallywag, Yeah. But we did the Brian Gumble show, we did the Jane Pauley show, we did the Pat Sajak show. So that stuff must be floating around somewhere. I don't have copies of it, but I need to look for it for my archives.
Oh, for sure.
But he was a crazy dude. We did you remember VH1 when Ben Sidran used to do the jazz shows?
I remember VH1, but I don't remember many of the shows that they had running.
Yeah, I did that one with Frank Morgan too. I did a lot of TV with Frank.
Sidran, is that the pianist that sings?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that dude is he's out there.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a
skills.
historian of the music too. He knows quite a bit. He's a nice guy.
Right.
No, but don't get me wrong. I love Frank, but he was a serious character.
I bet. I mean, he had those young. He had been in his 70s or whatever, but he had those young girls tied up, and I couldn't get in there to talk to them.
Yeah.
Or they had him tied up.
Yeah. And you were saying you saw Billy Hart with him. First time I saw Billy Hart was actually in St. Louis when Herbie Hancock came through. I think I must have been in junior high. They had that M1 Dishi group with Billy Hart and Buster Williams on bass and Benny Maupin on tenor and bass clarinet.
Wow.
And Herbie, man, that was one of the premier fusion bands. It was kind of like M1 Dishi, Weather Report. They were really laying down some new sounds. And I think I saw Billy Hart way back then. And of course, when I got to New York, he was one of the first people that I met. And his we're still connected. We still talk when we get a chance.
Okay.
We actually are both part of a recent documentary on a keyboardist named Kenny Kirkland, who made a major impact before he died. He played with Sting and, of course, Wynton and Branford Marsalis and quite a few people. But we did a documentary on his life, and Billy and I were featured in that as close friends of Kenny.
Okay. You mentioned Branford. I just listened to tons of saxophone players, and Branford was okay, but I didn't really look up to him until I heard him on that album he did with Sonny Rollins. And I said, well, you can hang with Nuke. Okay. You good. That's when I really raised him up,
Right. Yeah. So what's happening out of St. Louis? Laka, you working out there? What's going on? What's the scene now in this period?
It's definitely
what's the scene in terms of live gigs with COVID?
Yeah, it's less because of COVID, but I mean it's still happening. There are definitely, some of the standard places that still have music. Some of the smaller venues, obviously, because of capacity restrictions. But yeah, I've been able to stay decently busy throughout the pandemic. But yeah, it's more the smaller venues. Yeah. But yeah, it's good. I have no complaint. How is it in New York?
Good, yeah.
So
It's
what
nothing
venues?
happening in New York. Not
Nothing.
like it was.
Mm.
Not too much. There's a few places, but they're the regular, and they have the regular staple of guys there. So yeah, I'm just thanking God. I'm teaching at a couple of colleges. I got my projects and doing what I could do. I think my last concert. Did I send you the link, Warren? We just played in at the Great Keystone Corner in Baltimore last month.
I
think
you
I
sent me a few
sent you
things.
a
I don't
link.
recall that one. I have to check.
Okay. Well, I'll
Yeah.
get it to you guys afterwards.
Okay.
It was a great live stream show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into teaching? What led you to that?
That was something that just also fell into me naturally because being around like great bass player Reggie Workman and Buster Williams, and they actually used to have me substitute teach for their classes on rhythm section at the new school in New York City. And that was early on. I was pretty young. And basically, just working with students. From there, I got asked to teach at the University of Philadelphia. It's a school of arts, University of the Arts in Philadelphia. So I started teaching there. And prior to that, the Jazz Mobile in Harlem, famous institution. I did so many gigs. I used to do a lot of gigs with John Hicks, another St. Louis legend that passed away, piano legend. But through working with them, I used to do different things at different high schools, different times. For some reason, I love to teach, and I didn't have the background to teach, but I was in all these situations that it started to come naturally. So I kind of developed my own teaching methods. I did go back to school to get my master's of fine arts. But even prior to that, I taught about almost 10 years at the Penn State University, courses that I created. I did a course on hip hop music and culture. I did a course called Worlds Closer, which was about music of global cultures. I created a history of jazz program. I didn't teach it there, but I'm now teaching it at Brooklyn College, Brooklyn Conservatory, and SUNY Old Westbury in Long Island. So I'm teaching that and still music of global cultures. And basically all of the courses that I've ever taught deal with talking about our collective history. Of course, history of jazz is mainly on Black history, our history, because we created the culture in America. And, the music itself provides a lens for me to talk about everything,
Mm-hmm.
So, and all of my courses are based around, social justice, the global cultures based around history and environmental justice, everything. So, yeah. I guess that's kind of like it. Somebody was like, Buster was like, hey man, something for my class. I'm like, okay. It became a challenge and gave me other ways to learn about myself and, create other ways to try to reach people.
Yeah, sounds like you just got in there and did you, huh?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Cool.
So a lot of what you were saying was reminding me of the World Rhythm Academy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you cut out. Only heard academy.
Yeah, the World Rhythm Academy.
Oh yeah, that's and it first used to be something that I wanted to do. It was called World Rhythm University, right? And I tried to launch it. I have an uncle who was a very good friend of Congressman John Conyers. And, because of Congressman Conyers, we've got all of this attention that was focused on America's classical music, which is jazz. He did a lot of things for a lot of people. Also, bar none of the work. He also was instrumental in the Lincoln Center and all of the things that are going on that we continue to have for the music. So I presented something to him at the time, and then I got sidetracked. Life is like, it takes you all over the place. And one point in my life, I worked 8 days a week. And I say 8 days a week because if I was in New York or California or something, I could have 2 or 3 gigs a day, and that's the way it was back through, like, from the early 80s, pretty much all the way up to the early 90s, mid 90s for me. So I kind of fell away from that kind of thing, and was getting experience from playing with and gigging and composing. And then I met my beautiful wife, and I wanted to revisit it. And so we looked into how we're going to do it with as a company, and university complicated than academy. So we put together World Rhythm Academy. And what we do, we've done a lot of different community outreach programs. We go into the communities. We taught at some middle schools in Brooklyn and Brownsville, and we taught. My wife is a geographer. She's a scientist, so she taught about the sciences, and I teach about the arts. And we combine those things because both of our biggest goals and initiatives revolve around environmental justice, social justice, and all of those issues. So, and we do a lot of different things like that. We have been known to produce shows with a variety of musicians and poets and academics all together. We did something on W.E.B. Du Bois. We've done quite a bit of small things, and we're still, we have to, we're getting grants, but, that whole grant thing is tedious. Oh, yeah. But we're in a place now where we just want to be fully functional on our own, and just trying to figure out how to navigate that. Because we love uplifting our people and doing things in the community, so that's what basically World Rhythm Academy is about. Although we have a lot of different branches now, we're going to be launching a cafe and all types of things. We've got partners all around the world that have content and material that can be sold through our site. You and I can talk about your food if you want to get a segment on our site, all of that kind of thing. It's about just branching out and creating this community, because, one of the things we do understand is that we're not going to get anywhere unless we create and have our community and keep it sustaining. We sustain ourselves.
Right, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've.
So Leon, what's going on with you? I haven't heard anything on this gathering here.
Oh, I'm just so I do my own podcast, and I work with Warren on getting his podcast together, and so I get an opportunity to meet folks like you and Laka. So I think I'm living the grand.
He's the tech guy.
Yeah, man.
He's helping us out where we just can't figure out some of this tech stuff. That's his main focus right now. So, but he's also a media guy. So, if you listen to him, he's got that voice.
I heard that already. That's why I was trying to get him to talk some more.
He's got the voice, but we're leaning on the tech stuff from him right now.
Okay. What's your podcast mainly about, Leon?
Oh, it's about people, politics, and professions, and basically we discuss any issue that we feel is going to impact the community, and to try to provide information so that they can make better decisions about, going forward in life.
Yeah. See, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. That's World Rhythm Academy. That's what we do. We have to give the information, help people process it to make the best choices that move us forward.
For sure.
I do have one.
I'm sorry.
I do have one question, if I could ask it.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel that music really does break down borders?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one of the issues we have currently, there's not enough access to all of the music that we have. So, there's different ways. The music is being channeled in certain ways. So it's actually not able to break down borders because all of the music isn't being heard, But to the initial point of it, absolutely, because I've seen it happen. I mean, I've seen it happen going places around the world, and being with people and seeing people, and we can't speak any language in there, and there could be some kind of tension there. But until somebody understands you're a musician and you can come together and create this universal language, it absolutely breaks down borders. We need to have a stronger demand for the art to come back in music, because here in America, everything is is so commercially based. It's that's what I was saying, when it's not we don't you don't even know all of the great music that's out here, because kind of the art has been taken out of it, and it's just optimistic, because right now, especially during COVID, is giving opportunity for more underground and independent things to happen. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful and optimistic, and I pretty much feel that things are going to be changing in a new direction, because I think people are going to hunger for new things, especially when we're able to really be together safely.
To Leon's point, I think, who saw that movie, the U.S. versus Billie Holiday?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
I mean, that was a
Yeah, my wife and I
perfect
saw it.
example, because her music was such a threat, because people were, and a lot of artists were doing the same thing. People were coming together amidst all that segregation, and that's what the system did not want. They did not want us coming
And they
together.
still don't want it. They still don't want it. Here's the thing that bugs me, is that we have enough money amongst people of color that we don't really need the system that's in place right now. But for some reason, we
He'll be back in a second.
I just really wish we could break that down.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason I asked that question, so I've seen documentary after documentary about some of the older Black artists and the large white audience that they curated, and yet we have such racism in our society and others, whereas they can love our music, they can love our hairstyles, they can love our clothing and dress, and never love us, and never think that we are human beyond what we can provide as far as entertainment, or as far as other issues. And so the question is, just to me, is, are we really breaking down borders, or are we just allowing them an opportunity to find something that they love and to try to grab that from us?
Well, to be honest with you, Leon, they've been grabbing it from us since the dawn of time, because without what we do, there would be nothing happening. And that leads me back to my thought and what I know, that we have to take control of our art forms, of our athletic ability, of all of the minds. We have so many brilliant minds, and we're at a tipping point right now that to me is the most important mission that we should all have, is bringing ourselves together with our money, our resources, and creating our community, because we really don't need, look at what's happening now through COVID. The amount of people of color that have money should not have had waited on the United States to give people stimuluses. There's enough money if they had to come together to take care of our people in our communities. You know, so we that's the thing that we have to figure out how to break down. It has nothing to do with the fact that they keep taking from us and using it, and that they're not giving us. Is my point now is that it's not about them not giving us. It's about us taking and demanding and supporting one another, because we are the culture of the world. I mean, if we hadn't come through what we've come through to create what we've created, there would be no culture. There would be no, you know, nothing for them to take from us. So that's what we need to understand too. You know, we got a lot of work to do, man. And I'm just like, I want to get on the ground and do that type of work. And Laka, you asked me about our nonprofit. You know, I want to be able to come home and set up some headquarters in St. Louis and get to work in the neighborhoods with like-minded people and trying to, you know, we want to set up at home. We want to set up in North Carolina. We want to set up in Atlanta. You know, we have a pretty nice agency of folks that work with us in New York. But, you know, we want to take our work globally, because it's all about bringing the consciousness that, look, we have to change this thing. It's not about anybody giving us anything. We got the power to take everything and make it work. So,
what inspires you to do this work? And where did you get the vision?
I think growing up, you know, my grandfather talked about our Native American blood and our Black blood and the things that he went through, and just knowing as a person who teaches the history of jazz and this music of global cultures, I've explored history kind of in depth, and I'm just sick and tired of the heinous ignorance, you know, just and the colorism and the shades and the caste systems and all of those types of things. I've always been, and my grandfather's poetry was all about the opposite of that, you know, building his poetry that I grew up dealing with was about, you know, creating community and bringing out those strengths in all of our diversity and not hating and these types of things. So it's just been kind of embedded in me my entire life, you know.
What's your father's name? What's
Alan David? Yeah, Alan David Marr, M-A-H. He was German, Native American, and Black. You know, so yeah, they grew up in Belleville, Illinois. And then moved to St. Louis.
Okay. Illinois. So what's your biggest passion besides teaching and music?
Well, I mean, family, extended family. You know, I mean, I love family. You know, that's this whole. That's also part of this. I think we all need to understand that we family in some kind of way. Okay. I just, you know, yeah, man. It's just, and especially the things that have been going on recently, it's just making me my drive more extreme, because I don't want to ever see a lot of the stuff that keeps repeating. Oh, yeah. You know,
how big is the
everything
family?
Is still repeating. Well, my personal family, I have 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and a great-grandson.
All right.
Right? Not to mention a bunch of uncles and aunts and cousins and nieces that are still around. My mother's still here. All of my grandparents are gone, but, you know. And then the extended family are all of my brothers that in St. Louis, you know. I still have my deepest friends from grade school and U City. You know, we get together every day. I got a chat of 16 brothers talking nonsense and laughing and joking from U City. You know, so all of that is extended family. Okay. We were just talking about that the other day with Sidney Fitzpatrick, because you know, he was like, man, you know, we all used to go at everybody's house and eat dinner and you know, your mama wasn't around, my mama would take care of you, and that's, you know, that's just how it's supposed to be. So I think that's you know, that's my biggest passion, is that figure out a way we got this big global culture and everybody is moving forward and not backwards.
So when did you say you were planning on coming back to St. Louis?
I'll be there. I'll be there. My mother moves in on March 30th, so I'm gonna be there that morning with the moving truck and getting stuff out. We need hands and backs.
March 30th. Well, give me.
You look like you had a big old strong back. The time, the location, brother.
Give me a call.
That's my punishment for teasing you about the pizza. That is.
No, I'll have some pizza for you now.
Now we're talking. You might be getting ready to move a box in.
Yeah. Let me check
Is
the calendar.
emo still happening in St. Louis?
Oh man!
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man.
So what do you miss most about? What do you miss most about St. Louis, if anything?
Man, my city's so beautiful. It's just a beautiful city. Even with it's always been a very violent place, man. I've been writing my book and growing up in St. Louis, and it's just violence all the time. But at the same time, like I said, I was blessed with my family and my friends, but the city itself is just a beautiful city. I miss the vibe of being there. I miss my family, my daughter, and family, but that city itself is something very special. And I've been all over the world, on every continent, in a lot of beautiful places. St. Louis got a lot of beauty there.
I agree. I have friends that, are always thinking about moving, that have grown up here, that want to go different places, but I really can't imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up here. So I grew up in Cape Girardeau, the small town. So
oh wow.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay.
So are you going to once you move back to St. Louis, bring your?
I ain't moving back to St. Louis. I just want to know. I said I want to have some property in the headquarters, so when I need to be there, come there. I got my own spot. I don't have to look for no Airbnbs.
All I heard was St. Louis was beautiful and was a wonderful. And so the question.
Right.
I didn't hear all that.
Yeah, I know. You were talking about how wonderful and beautiful it was. I was thinking that was your introduction to moving back.
No, brother.
He was just giving his respect, pretty much. He ain't coming back.
Well, we need you. There's an open invitation.
Well, look, anything is possible now, and that's the thing. We all should be living anywhere we want to live in the world. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we feel like it. Especially we made it to these points in our lives, man. It's like, hey, why not? We're supposed to live like this. The other side does it easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 61, been working my whole lifetime and feel like now I'm really ready to deal with it.
So
and that's what I want to do.
City?
78.
Okay.
Yeah.
You graduated year after my sister.
After who?
My sister. I graduated 76.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't.
Who's your sister?
My sister's Mary Davis.
Okay. Y'all went to U City. So you were if you were at 76, you were in
You would have been a sophomore my senior year.
Right. So weren't you in the class with Jeff Anderson? And the saxophone player played bass?
I don't remember. Do you know LJ?
You know Hassan Houston, right? You was in Hassan Houston with AJ Boyd.
Basketball team.
Yeah, that's right. Now I remember you. Yeah, those was my cats, man.
Right.
I was fighting on y'all side when them cats came from Sodan to the school. You remember that big battle?
Absolutely.
That's what. Huh? I was right next to Hassan Houston throwing down, man.
What year was that?
Oh shoot. I don't know, Leon. When was that? That must have been 75. Okay. It was a big brawl. And check this out. I found that the big brawl happened over my cousin. Her name was Felicia Marr, and she came out there and was dating Hassan and a brother from Sudan. Because I think so. Yeah, you remember? It was a big, huge fight, man. We went all through the school.
Wow. Were y'all at Sudan or U City?
No. Sudan came to U City.
Okay.
We played the game and we won the game. So Sudan came back. Plus, it was some tension there with my cousin who was dating Hassan, and it just broke up with a brother from Sudan. So the thing just blew out of proportion.
All right.
That was U City.
Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, so you was in my cousin's class, Hassan and all them cats. That was a great, man. Y'all was some bad cats.
Well, thank you.
Everything, music, sports, everything.
If I remember right, that year 76 was one of the largest graduating classes ever from U City.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think ours came in second, 78. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right, brother.
So
good to see you.
Unions, I'm going to be looking for your face.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I only went to one reunion. It's kind of. I'm ready now to make those, because they are very special. And like I said, my crew, we're still together, man. We're still talking all the time, all of us. So, and it's important, It's important.
Good.
Well,
it
is important. I suggest you go to those reunions because I'm just 66 and it's amazing how many of my class are just not even here.
Right.
Cherish the time while you got it.
That's what I'm saying. It's important because we lost a lot in my class too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now, like on your music courses, did you take those? Are you making them available? Can they take them online? Do they have to fly New York?
Well, those are all right now on, at the two schools that I teach. Okay. But we are launching one of my other courses, music of the Black Holocaust, which is part of MOBI, Music of the Black Experience. We're launching that on our World Rhythm Academy site pretty soon, so people can just take it anywhere they want from the world. I taught it like the year before COVID at a radical social justice place in Manhattan. And it was weird. It did so. I didn't have as many students as I thought until after I didn't teach there, and then all of a sudden I got an influx of emails, people saying, "Oh, we were going to take the class." I said, "Well, they ain't offered there now." So now, I'm going to put it online. I'm going to make it available. Yeah.
Okay.
So with your nonprofit, can other people get involved with it? Like you want to volunteer and help, things like that?
Absolutely. We're constantly looking for young interns, that we can mentor in a lot of different ways. And we get them occasionally, but we're like now, we got thrown a big curve with COVID because right now, like most everybody I know we're in survival mode. So, but
right.
This during this time though, it's allowed us to put together a rock solid plan and program for the future coming out on the other side. So everything has its reason for happening. I really don't like people who sit back and don't do anything when they have a chance to work their mind and find something different to do when you can't do the normal thing. So we're always moving and trying to invent some new ways to keep ourselves, creative and to keep ourselves moving forward and engaging.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry.
So now,
go ahead.
Just curious, where did you meet your wife?
At Penn State.
Okay.
Yep. I was a single father out there for quite a while, and she was a single mother there, and there was this wonderful elderly woman, Mom Jean Tate. We love her to death, Emma Jean Tate. And she was working on getting us together for 4 years. We were going to the same church, and we didn't have a clue what she was trying to do, right? And so now here's the thing. While I was teaching there, I was also like working with Wayne Shorter and working with people. So I'm in and out touring and teaching my classes and being a single father. And I would make sure that if I got home at the airport at 2 a.m, I'm going to take my daughter to church on Sunday. So I'm in church and I'm always exhausted. Now, my wife, she was doing international affairs, getting her degree in international affairs and traveling around the globe. And she come home and make sure her son would get to church on Sunday. We see each other in church. And I was like, man, she's fine, she's beautiful, but she looking tired and angry. And I'm like, I'm scared to talk to her. And she said the same thing about me. So then she said I remember one time Mom Tate said, look, like she was looking for somebody to help her son with. She said, well, you should meet Ronnie, he can help him. And so and Shonda tells the story, my wife Shonda, she tells the story, I came up to you and you gave my card and you looked all exhausted and beat up. And I'm thinking, oh, he's a musician on the road. I don't know. I don't know. It had nothing to do with him. So so that was like that, right? That was it. So, and then a couple of years later, Mom Tate had us at a dinner table sitting across from each other with our kids in the house, mutual of her family. And they was getting along and we started talking. And 6 months later, 5 months later, she said, she hit me upside the head and we got married.
Wait a minute. 5 months after you started dating?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
She knew.
Yeah.
She knew. Hey.
Yeah. Mom Tate knew, boy. Something. She knew something.
Yeah, I'm talking about your wife. She knew. She said, come on, wake up, dude.
Actually, I lied about that. I was the one.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody knew.
She didn't hit me on the head. I was like, come on, baby. She's like, no, I ain't have nothing to do with you.
All right, get the story straight.
Nah, but we
is there anything
Leon,
that you haven't done yet that you want to do?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again because I heard every other thing cutting out.
Oh, okay. Is there anything left in music that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely. I mean, in terms of the list of masters I played with, I'm fulfilled. But in terms of the music that I want to compose and create and create collaborations with musicians around the world, it's never ending. I mean, and I pray that it will never end. Like Dizzy Gillespie, he was never the things he wanted to do musically. So I don't, and I know I won't be because. I mean, my music, when I compose, none of my music sounds the same. It's always going somewhere different. It's always about something personal and very that's happening now. So, and I just know that's it. That's what keeps me going. So, I'm by far nowhere. They never be close to. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, we'll be back in a second. So, Eric,
okay,
we lost you.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry.
So you play with pretty much everybody, but if there's one person that you haven't played with that you would like to collaborate with, who would that be?
Okay. Now that's kind of hard because it's not just one person. But I would do some type of collaboration. I think Herbie Hancock, Herbie and I haven't had a any kind of long situation where we hit together and really got to know each other.
Okay.
So I think him on the level of the master level. And then with some of the younger people, there's quite a few people, and that's the thing about me too. I've never had like a favorite, so I just love what everybody does. And so there's tons of collaborations I want to do,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, depending on how much time you have when you come, I would just love to maybe if we could set up like a jam session or something where we can get some cats, some of the guys to come in and just cut up, man. That would be awesome.
Oh, man. That'd be nice. We got a venue for that? Is that your studio big enough with equipped with that?
We'd have to find a place.
Okay. Well, I'm always down, I'm always down to play. I got my sticks with me.
I hear you.
Always. And I'm sure there'll be some cats.
Yeah.
Places we can just figure it out. You can just set a date and tell folks.
Yeah.
Let me know when it is. I know I'm going to move my mom in on the 30th. So the 31st and the 1st and 2nd, I'm probably going to be asleep. but
maybe Kranzberg will open back up and I can get Bob to help me hook something up. Bob DeBoo.
Oh, DeBoo, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, he had that jam session.
I'm down. I'm always down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Him and Montez.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Montez.
Bring some more guys. Everybody was playing there when it was popping.
Yeah.
Jeffrey
Yeah, I did a hit
Montgomery.
there the last time I came home. I guess it was let's see. Not the last two, maybe Sunday. When was that Christmas we were in St. Louis? 2 years ago, I came in and I booked a night at BB's. And the next night there was this little jazz club called I think it was called Kind of Blue or something. This guy had a little jazz club out in Webster Groves.
Oh yeah.
I played
Larry,
there.
Yeah. I think you shut
And then
that
the
down.
third,
That was a cozy little spot, man.
yeah, it was nice.
Kind of like a speakeasy.
I was banging my elbows on the wall, taking drum solos, but it was nice. Everybody loved it because everybody loved it.
Yeah.
And then the next night, I was at the Dog Horse. So I did 3 nights in a row, and they were all packed when I came home that Christmas, couple Christmases ago.
Yeah, we definitely hooked something up, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
out of all
John-
the venues,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
venues that you played, you played at a lot of impressive venues. Did you have a favorite, or maybe a favorite concert, or something really memorable?
There's a couple of venues that I really loved playing at, and one was the Yamaha Hall in Ginza in Tokyo, Japan. The other one is the Berlin Philharmonic. They used to do the Berlin Jazz Festival there, which I played for concerts and did an incredible recording with another St. Louis person, Hammy Blewett. He had a clarinet choir, and we recorded live at the Berlin Philharmonic. So that's another one of my favorite venues. I played at the Royal Philharmonic in London. I love that venue. Did that with Courtney Pine. There's a lot of venues I really love. I don't think I have a favorite one, but some of those concert halls are just amazing.
Did you say?
And is it because
in terms of jazz clubs, I think right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Philharmonic. What'd you say, Laka? I'm sorry.
Is it because of the sound, the people, how it looks? What about those venues?
Yes, the sound. and the aesthetic of the concert, the way the stage was set up, so everybody had a good view if they were in the balcony or not. But basically, yeah, the sound quality of those concert halls and the people, the people were great. But you know, you always feel that from the people, but also when you have a place where the sound is just perfect, it just makes it just makes it shine more special, because it's hard on the road, having the perfect sound.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure. Okay, was that it? Leon, anything else? We're coming up on an hour now. So
the jazz clubs, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
What words of wisdom do you have for those young folks that are playing in the pizzerias and gymnasiums and small clubs around the country?
Keep doing it. Keep playing. Keep advancing your and honing your skills. Play every type of music that you can get your hands and ears on. Are you guys there? We kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we still here?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. So did you hear that?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my advice. Keep doing it. Play every type of music you can get your eyes and ears on. And anytime anybody is nearby that has been a veteran, try to get to have a conversation with them.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's it, if everybody's got all the questions in, Ronnie, it's been a pleasure having you, and I'd definitely like to bring you back so we can chat some more. Or even better yet, if you come to town, I'd like to meet up with you. But we appreciate your time. Say hello.
No,
to
thank you
everybody
guys
in
so
New
much
York.
for having me.
Sure, and we will definitely be in touch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We shall talk to you.
Thank you
in
so
the
much.
future. You're welcome.
Have a good
All
night.
right. See y'all.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay, that's a wrap, y'all. St. Louis City Jazz Sessions. We just got through chatting with Ronnie Burrage from St. Louis. We had a great conversation, and hopefully we'll get him back on the show. At this time, we're going to sign off. Good evening.